Hi, and welcome to a panel discussion with the Federal Trade Commission, the Better Business Bureau, and the Attorney General's Office of Consumer Protection here in the state of Georgia. We wanted to sit down and we wanted to talk about some different things that consumers are facing in the midst of COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. And I'd like to introduce you today to our panelists, and I'm going to start with Mr. Kelvin Collins. He is with the Better Business Bureau. Kelvin, your title at the BBB is President of the Better Business Bureau, serving the Fall Line Corridor. Now, I understand how the Fall Line runs across the state of Georgia, but what does that mean in layman's terms?
Well, in layman's terms, the Better Business Bureau serving the Fall Line Corridor is the legal name for the Better Business Bureau serving Central Georgia, serving the CSRA, serving Southwest Georgia, and East Alabama and West Georgia. So we have offices in Columbus, Augusta, and then Macon. But basically, we cover from Auburn, Alabama to Aiken, South Carolina, and then down to the Florida line west of I-75. So it's 77 counties in 3 different states, and it's really hard to find one name that encompasses all of that. So Fall Line Corridor is something that, the Fall Line Freeway is something we've heard for years, so that's why we chose that.
Excellent, excellent. The second person on our panel I'm going to introduce today is Miss Anna Burns. Miss Anna is from the Federal Trade Commission, and she is the Southeast Region, or she's the Regional Director of the Southeast Region. And that sounds like a really big deal. So where are you at, and how do you cover all of this?
Well, Jason, while our office is located physically in Atlanta, we cover 7 southeastern states: North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. So we have a big area, but we do great work covering all of those states.
That's fantastic, and I can vouch for that. You guys do great work. And so next, we have Mr. Sean Conroy. He is with the Attorney General's Office in the state of Georgia, the Consumer Protection Division. Now, Mr. Conroy, what is the Consumer Protection Division?
Thanks, Jason. And it's great to partner with both the Better Business Bureau and the Federal Trade Commission for this webinar. Our office, the Attorney General's Office, has a Consumer Protection Division, which has about 45 employees, and we investigate consumer complaints from across the state. We're located in Atlanta, but we do our reach does go throughout the state. We get about 17 to 20,000 complaints that come in per year, and we process those complaints looking for unfair or deceptive acts and practices. And especially during this COVID-19 outbreak, we're very busy looking at issues such as price gouging, along with the traditional scams that we'll typically see and that you hear about and that the Federal Trade Commission hears about. We're available on the web at consumer.ga.gov, and we have counselors. We're still operating and available to take calls from consumers if there's questions or complaints. And our information will show up later in the slides too, but our phone number is 404-651-8600.
Excellent, excellent. Now, the last person joining our panel is Miss Mason, Miss Michelle Mason. Now, Miss Mason, are you in Atlanta as well as some of these other folks?
No, I'm actually based in Columbus, Georgia. So as Kelvin mentioned, we have 3 offices, and I work out of the Columbus office, but hand in hand with our team in Macon and Augusta as well.
I've heard about the Better Business Bureau for a very long time. Can you tell me what the BBB actually does?
We're a not-for-profit organization that's dedicated to promoting business ethics. So we're working with businesses to help them resolve disputes with their customers, to help them make sure that their advertising is honest and truthful, helping them build good business practices to make them successful, and also guiding consumers to great information that can help them feel like they're armed in ways that they can protect themselves from scams and other things that are going on there. But we're really here to help them make good buying decisions along the way.
Outstanding. Throughout this pandemic, there's been, madness with trying to go out and just do some regular shopping. I'm having trouble finding toilet paper. I wanted a hamburger until I saw how much it was. What is price gouging, Mr. Conroy?
Sure. And thanks, Jason. And as you know, in our free market economy, competition and demand, they set the prices. Except in a situation where there's a natural disaster of some sort and a state of emergency is declared by the governor, and the governor enacts the price gouging statute. And that happened on March 14th of this year in association with the COVID health emergency. And our price gouging statute's in effect. Currently, it's going to run till May 13th, unless it's extended or rescinded. But when the price gouging statute's in effect, businesses aren't able to charge more for products, and this is important to go through, than they were before the price gouging statute went into effect. Now, businesses can pass on the cost of transportation. They can pass on the cost that their suppliers are charging them, which we believe is happening in some situations that we're hearing about. And also there's a 10-day markup period before the event, the price gouging statute goes into effect, that's also involved here. So the important part is for consumers, if they believe that they are seeing price gouging, that they report it to us. It's a challenge to know sometimes, because if you see, for example, we've had a number of complaints come in about food prices. In fact, we've had over 900 complaints come in for everything since the price gouging statute went into effect this go around. Some of the top items we're hearing about are food, personal protective gear like masks, disinfectant products, and the like. So, but we also understand that there are prices that are increasing for suppliers, especially in the area of food, but we're also monitoring that very quickly. Now, and for our friends in South Carolina and Alabama, I'm speaking specifically about Georgia. The price gouging statutes are not national. They are specific to Georgia is what I'm talking about, so be aware of that. Consumers can contact us in a couple of ways. The most efficient way is on our website at consumer.ga.gov, and there is a complaint form that can be filled out there. We also have a all things coronavirus consumer related section on that site, so we'd encourage people to go there as well. In addition, we can be called at 404-651-8600, 404-651-8600, and make a report that way.
Well, I'm going to have to call you, and I want to know what the Better Business Bureau is doing, because it is not right that that these folks are out here charging $6 a pound for ground beef. What are y'all doing about it?
Yeah, we're hearing from a lot of people in the community who are concerned, because they're definitely noting the change in prices. They're shopping at the same stores they always have. They know what they usually pay for things that you mentioned, like eggs, meat, a variety of things like, of course, we know toilet paper, when you can find it, is more expensive. So we are taking this information, but actually we're sharing it with the Attorney General's office, because they're the experts in investigating this. And I know, as Sean mentioned, that they have to try to determine what expenses the company has taken on in order to share those products with their customers. The biggest focus right now is making sure that the supply is there as people need it. But there's a cost to that, and these businesses are like the rest of us in that they're working with less. They have the need to watch expenses as well, so they can't pass along a no price if their expenses have gone up. So we are trying to help identify what sounds like just a change in price because the cost of transporting the product and getting it out to the consumer has increased, versus those that are just trying to use the situation to make some extra money because they have the supply and there's a great demand out there for it.
Thank you, Ms. Mason. You talked about supply and demand. Mr. Collins, why can't I buy more than one pack of toilet paper and one pack of bullets? Why can't I? What's the problem?
Well, there is a supply and demand issue going on right now in some products, and in order for everyone to benefit from what a store is able to get, they have to limit some people being able to hoard a lot of that. So, on those big items that are in demand, they will limit the number that you can get, and it's not anything against that individual personally. It's just that they have to make sure that they are able to supply all of their customers, and stores will develop those policies to help when they have the supply and demand issue. And there's really not a reason right now that we should be hoarding a lot of this stuff, because the supply chain is slower right now, but it is the stores are getting these things back in stock. And the Attorney General's office has done a great job about getting the word out about price gouging, and many of the price gouging complaints that you see, you don't really know if it's price gouging until some further investigation is done. Now, there are some egregious cases where you've got a 99-cent hand sanitizer that before this that's selling now for $17. Those are easy to spot. But, meat going from $4 a pound to $6 a pound could be the normal markup for what the store is having to pay.
And we are seeing these at grocery stores, but we're also seeing the complaints come in about from online platforms. In those situations, we're partnering with the likes of the Amazon, the eBays of the world to look at their platforms, and we contact them. And I'm told by our team that we've had over 100 questionable ads for products like the expensive hand sanitizer or the expensive toilet paper and paper towels removed from those websites.
Well, okay, so I can go to this convenience store right down the street from me, Mr. Sean, and they've got those little hand sanitizers, and they're $8. So I think that's wrong. And how do I report that? And then what do y'all do?
Sure. Thanks for the question, Jason. And if you want to report suspected price gouging, you can contact the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division online at consumer.ga.gov, or call us at 404-651-8600.
And then what do y'all do with these people? Do y'all like round them up and throw them in jail?
Right. That is I understand. And the first thing we want to do is we want the businesses to understand specifically what the law is. And they are put on notice, and they receive information about the penalties for price gouging, which can in some situations be up to $15,000 per violation. They receive information specifically on what price gouging is and isn't, so they can make a determination if they believe they're justified in what they're doing. And we understand that in many cases that they may be justified, but and often the notice will serve to resolve any problems that are happening immediately, and that if it is more egregious and we think it's impacting, making a substantial impact, we're going to look further into it and open up a more robust investigation that potentially could involve the issuance of a subpoena or investigative demand.
Wow. So when I go into stores and I see something, I just need to let you guys know.
That's right. That's right. And understand that we'll take a look at it. It can be confusing for people to know. It may be a location that they haven't shopped in before too, and they may not know that the particular product, does the particular product at a gas station cost that much? Well, that's our job. And we need to hear from people who are concerned about price gouging so we can look into it further.